Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girimit Kripadavam Mande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Hare Krishna. It's another opportunity to really understand the truth more and more closer to the heart because unless the sadhaka really understands what we are supposed to do, the process doesn't get easy. We see all the acharyas, they are actually taking shelter of the Lord to their heart and heart. We need to find ways and means. Yesterday we discussed about this, right? How Mother Rukmini, she didn't had any other means other than taking shelter of that sadhu. And then through that sadhu, she was able to understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. So we ourselves, we are so much indebted to all the acharyas, especially our spiritual master, because they are the one who actually drive the boat from one source to the other source. They take us to the destination. Jiva can never be independently go back home back to Godhead. Jiva is always dependent. Now, how the Jiva, which is there in the marginal energy, how is it taking shelter of the internal energy, or how is it taking shelter of the material energy or the external energy? It's an interesting subject to really understand. Before we touch base on that, it's also very important to understand our pathetic condition. So it is through the conditioning, Jiva will take the shelter of the external energy. It is not, that means he's forcefully kept in that situation. So why is that the Jiva is always been forcefully kept in that situation? Why the Jiva doesn't get taste to hear? Why the Jiva doesn't really feel that this is the only thing? There's so many things right in this world. Why we are so much baffled up in this world again and again? There are multiple answers for that. Because that is our unnatural nature which we have cultivated in this world. That's not natural, dear devotees. Taking shelter of the external energy is actually, it's not a natural thing. But that unnatural thing became natural to us today. So why the unnatural thing became natural? Because we took that kind of association. Because we are so much absorbed in that that we do not want anything else other than that. It's a matter of choices. We have taken so many unwanted choices in our life. That means we have misused the independence so much. Just like a child who's in the mother's womb, first month, second month, third month, huh? Slowly is increasing his size. Fourth, third month, the heart is manifested. Fourth month, the nails, the hair, the skull, it's all manifested. And then later on, the consciousness is manifested. Consciousness is there, it's dormant, but now it is manifested. That means the child will actually feel that he's there in this mother's form. He's actually feeling, he's actually, he could understand the the heat which is coming through the mother's body. He's actually feeling that heat, the burning sensation. Just see here, devotee. Just see here. Try to understand this, dear devotees. We are kept in a particular state. For example, we're taking the example of this mother's womb. We all been there. Now, through that consciousness, we are actually feeling that there is pain and then trouble. And then sometimes we are hungry, and then the mother will eat, and then through that food or prasad, whatever she eats, that comes to us. We are tormented again and again. The consciousness is working. We cannot come out of it, or neither we can ignore that situation. Such a condition, actually, in that condition, the jiva is actually praying to the Lord right before he comes out. That we don't even remember that. The jiva has prayed to the Lord. So this is a situation. Now, if the jiva is very conscious, is intelligent, then he will remember his previous lives, right in his mother's womb. If the jiva is not that intelligent enough, he doesn't remember. And then through the remembrance, then he prays. Not everyone will pray. Please understand this. This is also very important. Not everyone in the mother's womb will be praying. Only a sadhaka, only an aspiring sadhaka will pray. No, we don't remember whether we prayed or not. I remember my spiritual master telling many years back, he said, "Oh, I do not remember whether I prayed or not. But now, by seeing the words of Srila Prabhupada, I understand that this is a difficult state which we've been through. We all go through that difficult state. Now, the sadhaka who doesn't have any faith on the process, then he will simply ignore this. But if you actually see, a lot of people say, "Oh, my son is kicking from the mother's womb, from the mother's womb. He's happily." No, no, it's not a joyful experience, dear devotees. It is not a joyful experience. If I say, "Do not come out a particular room," and then stay there without any sunlight, can we do that? We cannot do that. It's a difficult state. In a central jail, if the criminal is very sinful, he's been kept in that particular room, locked on, with no sunlight. Just imagine, dear devotees. I always think about these things. Please think about this. You're confined in 4 by 4 room. You can just sleep there. That's all. That's about it. Babre. If a person has been kept there for a week, his consciousness completely deteriorates. He will even feel that to die. So when the people of the jail keep the criminals in that particular state, they ensure that the criminal doesn't have any weapons. Why? Because they know they will die. So they will ensure that criminal doesn't have anything. This is a confinement, dear devotees. Please understand. The consciousness is there. He wants to do something, but he cannot do anything. What is this? Taking away the complete independence from the soul. The independence is there, but it is not there also. Completely taking away, pulling away the sadhaka from that state. Dear devotees, we have experienced similar in our mother's womb. Is that something great? No, it is not great actually. It is a very tormented state. That means why the jiva has been kept in that particular state? It is through our, because we want to enjoy. We want to stay here. We want to do that. We want to do this in separation of the Lord. We don't want Him. We don't want to take His shelter. Then the material nature will send him into so many turbulences, difficulties. That's why if you see the Acharya's life, they are so fixed up in the process. Why? Because they understand the pathetic condition of this world. There's two things to understand the devotees. We need to understand the pathetic condition of this world, and also we need to understand the greatness of the spiritual life and what happens in the spiritual world. Both we need to understand. That means simultaneously we need to give this up and then catch hold of that. This is transforming oneself from the external energy to the internal energy. To the question asked by the Mataji yesterday, this is the way. Because please, we need to understand this actually. Pashwati Mataji was asking this question, how do we demarcate this? This is the way. Because when we understand the pathetic condition of this world, then we realize, I do not. For example, even if the person is away from the jail and then is given independence, he stays in an apartment or a home, still his independence, it looks like the independence is being given to him. Yes, independence is given to him. But if you actually see, the independence which he is given is also limited to him. It's not a complete independence. Please understand. Because he personally feels that that is, oh, he's released. No, he's happy. He's released from a confinement, but he didn't know what his real happiness is. Because that is even after coming out, still he's kept in a limited state. His notion is that complete independence is not been given. Because when the complete independence is not been given, what happens there to what is? When complete independence is not given, when complete independence is not given, then again he's in the shackles. But he doesn't know that he's in the shackles. The modes of material nature, the three modes of material nature are pulling the jiva in so many ways. Sometimes it says to enjoy. Sometimes it says that sometimes he give it up. Sometimes he become a vairagya. And sometimes he wants to enjoy. Sometimes he looks for name, fame, profit, or adoration. Sometimes he says, I do not want anything else. Sometimes he says that I want to practice Krishna consciousness. Sometimes he says that I want to reject it. Sometimes he says that I want to be independently happy. Sometimes he receives that independent happiness. Sometimes he doesn't receive the independent happiness. That means he's desiring certain things, but certain times it is happening, certain times it is not happening. Certain times he can do it, certain times he cannot do it. Is that not limitedness? It is limitedness. Sometimes you want to eat sweets, but you cannot eat because you have problem in the stomach. Sometimes you want to take curd, but you cannot take because you have cold. It's really a situation which we cannot fathom or even experience. Sometimes we want to do that, we cannot do it. Sometimes you want to have your loved or dear ones to you, closer to you, but that's not possible. It's not possible at every instance. I remember it's a beautiful reflection which my spiritual master tells. He says he went to a camp when he's a government employee. When he goes on he goes to the camp early days when he was practicing Krishna consciousness. At that time when he was going, a thought came into his heart that why am I, if my wife and children are very dear to me, why don't I remember them always? Why doesn't he remember them always? If he really appreciates them, if he has a lot of love and respect towards them, or A family, relationship bonding, if that bonding is that so strong, then why doesn't he remember them always? It's an interesting question actually. Why we do not remember them always? There's a reason, dear devotees. They are there, but they are also not there. Now, how is it they are not there? Sometimes they are there in the consciousness, sometimes they are not there in the consciousness because we might think something else of something else. So that means when we think something else, the thing which we are supposed to think in the before, that is removed, taken away from the consciousness. And if we really love them, why don't we remember them always? The material energy, if the material energy is very powerful, or if the material energy can give happiness completely to the jiva, then why the jiva is suffering in so many ways? Why is the jiva tormented again and again? Why is it baffled up? Well, these are the questions which we need to ask actually. Because unless and until sadhaka comes to the state of really inquiring from the heart, he cannot even know what's happening externally. Because he feels that he's not limited, he's unlimited. That is another illusion. Every sadhaka should inquire, should see the examples in his life, what's happening. When we see the examples in our life, then we will understand, what is happening? Yes, if I really love them, why don't I remember them always? That means that love is also conditional. Unconditional love can only be remembered continuously. And that unconditional love is only through our Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. It is to the Supreme Lord. No one else. That unconditional love can only be established, can will that itself gives that opens up our independence completely. Because where are we taking shelter? We're not taking shelter of the external energy, but we are taking the shelter of the internal energy. Now, how do I take that? Again, by following the words of our acharyas. That is the only way. Krishna has given us a beautiful process. Now, Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. He says that when the child is being tormented in the mother's womb, it's very difficult for him. It's a pathetic state. And through that pathetic state, his head has to be down and then he has to come out of this mother's body. He comes out with blood and the other aspects of the body. Then he cries and he completely forgets because the moment he enters into the material nature covers up his consciousness. And then he cries for milk, he cries for hunger, he's been bitten by the mosquitoes outside. He wanted to move, but he cannot move. He wanted to go there, but he cannot go. These are all the states, dear devotees. We've been through that. We forget actually. We do not remember any of those things. We forget. The moment we understand that, shivering comes into one's consciousness. My dear Lord, simply by forgetting you, simply by coming away from you, simply to enjoy separation of you, I've been kept in all of these situations, my dear Lord. Why? I came out of this particular state. I really had relationship with you, with all your devotees in the spiritual world. But in me, I want to enjoy separation of you, my dear Lord. Now, do we really see that enjoyment in separation of the Lord? Yes, we do see here, we do see here, dear devotees. If we closely observe our heart, we have these propensities to enjoy in separation of the Lord. That is a proof actually. So one time a devotee has been asking, oh, what is a proof that we came from the spiritual world? What is a proof that we have forgotten? The relationship from the Lord. This is a proof. Actually, you see your heart. You can know. You want don't you want to enjoy in separation of the Lord? Yes, he says yes. Don't you want to enjoy separately? Yes, he says yes. Don't you want to get happiness independent of everyone? He says yes. Then is are these three answers not good enough to prove that you came away from that from the supreme personality of Godhead? Is that not an indication? Yes, it is an indication. It's a clear indication. We can see our heart right now today. We have propensities to enjoy in separation of the Lord. That itself is a proof. Proof for what? Proof for this that we have this propensity to enjoy in separation of the Lord. That is why we've been kept here. The Lord is so merciful, Father. He's not like envious or like jealous that you came away from him, that he wanted to torment you in this material world. No, 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 no. He's giving independence also. If the Lord really wants to torment us in this material world, he will never give independence. Just like a person who's there in the central jail, he doesn't have independence. But the Lord is not like that. He gives independence. Through that independence, we came into the place of this land of opportunities, America, and then trying to work here, make a livelihood. Through that small livelihood, we get little happiness in this material world, and then we are trying to enjoy that little so-called happiness in here by taking the shelter of the external energy. Is that not independence? Is that not the love of the Lord? He is. He is a source of that. He is actually giving us, no one else. When we understand that, dear devotees, then we know, oh, my dear Lord, I've committed sinful activities. I do not want to take shelter of another mother's womb. Let me correct my consciousness today. That is the moment, dear devotees, when he is convinced in this, then only he will turn towards the internal energy of the Lord. Otherwise, he will not turn towards the internal energy of the Lord. Because we need to understand, we need to really understand, yes, yes, Hari, yes, definitely I have a problem here. I need to take shelter. This we have to realize. The more we realize this, the more we will be free from committing offenses, free from committing sins. So Srila Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna and be happy, follow four greater principles. It's a simple statement, but for this, the sadhaka has to be fully convinced. Through that conviction only, he will come out of this particular state. State of what? State of ignorance. Now the child is in complete ignorance. In the mother's womb, he doesn't know what's happening to him. He's not seeing the sunlight, doesn't see the moonlight. He couldn't experience the air, the natural air. He couldn't experience anything because he's in confinement. And that everyone says that, oh, congratulations, this, that, so many things. Oh, you have a baby boy, you have a baby girl, that's beautiful. Now that confinement, everyone says that, oh, it's a great, joyful experience. Who said it's a joyful experience? It's a tormented experience. And the child will feel that consciousness. Now, that is the reason why our acharyas do tell that when a mother is pregnant, she should begin hearing Bhagavatam. She should do Shravana continuously. She should chant Hare Krishna. These two things have to happen, Shravana and Kirtana. Why? Because to pacify the child which is there in the mother's womb. Because he's tormented. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmana mamupasita. These things are there. Raga, krodha, bhaya. Raga, krodha is not there, but bhaya is there. Because just imagine, dear devotees, you actually feel the consciousness. You can ask any doctor. They will tell the child is feeling the consciousness. He has that. And Bhagavatam proves that. Actually, Bhagavatam gives their explanation that every month what happened, the first month what happens. Kapiladev, he tells to Mother Devahuti, but what is happening here, what is happening there, every step he says, how the size is increasing, when the consciousness will come, when he will feel the pain, when he will feel the turbulence, and when he will actually pray to the Lord, everything orchestrated. And then when this thing is actually taken to the doctors, and then they say, yes, whatever you have said is right. Now, how is that Kapil Dev? He went into the mother's room and then he saw that no, he's a supreme personality of Godhead. He can give everything. He can give all the signs. Actually, Bhagavatam is a real science. We should hear. We should hear through right source. What is that right source? That right source shouldn't have any expectation in his life. He shouldn't recite Bhagavatam for some name, fame, profit, adoration, or he shouldn't speak Bhagavatam for some money. That from that source, Prabhupada says that one should never hear from that kind of a source. Or he's making a livelihood from that. No, Bhagavatam is not meant for that. Or you come in here, give me $100. No, it's not like that. Actually, one cannot put a money to this. This is not the livelihood. This is actually our life. So when the sadhaka, when the person who's speaking is completely selfless, doesn't have any expectation, no name, fame, profit, adoration, from that source we need to hear. And he is our instructor. He is our trainer. We should share our heart to them. We should express our inabilities. Then he'll tell how to come out of that. It's very, very important. That's why having a relationship is so important, so critical. I remember my spiritual master telling, and when I first met him, he said, oh, to understand Krishna consciousness, it will take few years, for sure. Because see here, dear Lord, we are kept in so many complacent states. We have sometimes we feel that we have independence, sometimes we do not have independence. Sometimes whatever you desire, it will be fulfilled. Sometimes whatever you desire, it doesn't fulfill. Sometimes you want to get a particular job, you might get it. Sometimes you will not get it. Sometimes you apply, you get it, sometimes you don't get it. That means there's always struggle for existence here. There's always so many things going on. You expect something, but you do not get it. These are all the probabilities and circumstances because they are in the external energy. But the moment sadhaka works completely for the pleasure of the Lord, he is not bounded to that. Just see dear devotees, completely within a moment, within a fraction, his consciousness is completely transformed from external to the internal. Because that is the only thing which gives him solace. There's nothing else which can give. No, this we need to understand. Hridaya Granthi is a strong knot in the heart that has to be broken through our efforts. We need to put our efforts. We need to say, I will do this because this is a way to make progress. So this science we need to address. What is this? This is a science we need to address. We need to see, Harry, yes, definitely. I've been through so many difficulties, especially in my mother's room. And then difficulties after coming out. Are we like completely joyful right since our childhood? There are difficulties. That itself is a proof and indication that Krishna wants us to come out of this tormented state. He says that I am there for you. Come to me. I will take care of you. This we need to understand. Because the more when sadhaka understands the traumatic nature of this material world, the more he takes shelter. Now here, Prahlad Maharaj, don't you think that Prahlad Maharaj don't know the difficulties of this material world? Don't you think that Prahlad Maharaj is being kept in a difficult state? He knows all of those things. And that is why he's taking complete shelter. I'll tell one thing, dear devotees. For example, I'll tell this and conclude. For example, if you are desiring, for example, if a person, your friend or somebody, he has a big job, very big job. He's earning like 250K, 275K, something like that. Okay. No, you earn like 125 or 150K. Okay. The moment you see him, if in your heart and heart you get a desire that I want to be like him, just a desire, not anything else. You had you have that desire, and then you kept in your heart. You did not express to anyone else also. But the Krishna is sitting in your heart, he will see that. This is serious, dear devotees. This is how it works. Krishna in the heart, he will see that and then he will orchestrate in such a way that either in this life or in the next life you go to that state. So that's why what we are desiring is very important. I always think about this. What is this world? If I see somebody, then if I get inspired through that, then this life or the next life or 10 lives after that, because you have to do punya for that, you eventually will get it. What is that? What great benefit it is. Now, that particular person, through punya, he's doing that. He received it. Through the Lord God given intelligence, he's doing that. He's maintaining that many people. He's doing that many things. We should never desire that. Now, again, I'll stop here, but we need to really understand. We'll continue about this tomorrow. How the jiva will come out from this external energy to and move into internal energy, and then what kind of desires you need to cultivate for that. We'll continue that tomorrow. I hope I'm making sense today. Today's discussion is very important. So do yesterday. If you do not understand, please hear one more time. But try to work on this. Unless until we work on this, we cannot we cannot really understand what Krishna consciousness is. Krishna consciousness is the greatest science. If you are missing this out, it's a problem. If you are missing this out through something else in this world, it's a problem. And I guarantee nothing will give you satisfaction to the heart other than this. I write it down for sure. You might have tried so many things: kayaking, hiking, meditation, this, that, so many other things. Pressing the nose like this, pressing the nose like that, sitting straight, doing this, doing that, so many things of this world. Nothing will give satisfaction to the heart because we are in the external energy only. We never came to internal energy. We don't even know what that is. Even impersonal liberation, that is also external energy. Please understand this, dear devotees. That is not permanent. You'll go there and then meditate and then that impersonal liberation. Liberation is what, dear devotee? Devotees do not aspire for liberation actually. Haridas Thakur Maharaj he says that our liberation is on his doorstep, but he doesn't even care for that. We're not for that. Have a powerful spirit soul. You have a relationship with Krishna. What kind of happiness you'll get through impersonal liberation? You do not get anything. You just go there and then sit and meditate, close your eyes. What is that? I can close my eyes in my mother's room also. What's so different in that? Hare Krishna. Only aspire for this. Do not aspire anything else in this life. Because there's nothing. There's nothing. Our acharyas have proved us again and again. There's nothing. Kuch bhi nahi hai yaar. There's nothing. That we need to realize. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. I'll stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Would like to share anything? Like to reflect?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble message.
Hare Krishna, Amma.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so very much, Prabhuji, uh, for clearly explaining the actual truth, the truth on how the birth starts from the womb. As you rightly mentioned, the baby kicking. From the day one of knowing that there is a baby, it's so joyful to the parents. But the truth, the actual truth, would be known only from the gurus because they are following the scriptures. Exactly opposite. If we don't know, we are following completely the wrong path, and the baby who is born is the one who is going to suffer after coming. Thank you so very much for sharing. I just want the many realizations have been. It will definitely helpful for the sadhakas who are in that stage, but who are came out of that stage later also have to continuously listen, and it's even more endeavor, continuously listening, and then involve the kids also to listen. It's the only way so that they know the truth, because they did not hear the truth and they were small and they were in the womb. So it's a lot of extra endeavor for them also to get convinced that this is the truth. So thank you so very much, Prabhu, for sharing the truth. Really, really appreciate time and association.
It is so important actually. We experience all these things, but we do not see through the vision of the acharyas. That is a problem actually. All core problems is we do not see through the vision of the acharyas. That is the core problem for everything. And proper writes actually there. Proper says, we really do not understand. There's so much going on. There's so much chaos going on all around. We are engaged in our own things of this world. And Prabhupada says that we are not worried for that kind of people, but we are worried for the devotees who are aspiring for that, who really want to take up the process. Because nothing can be done if a person doesn't agree. Because he has that independence now. Lord has given him that independence. So nothing can be done. But whoever really wants to take up the process seriously, for them, these classes will be a joyful experience. For others, it will not be. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Let us all offer humble obeisance and all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord would just like desires who can fulfill the desires of everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Pancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhurecha patitanam pavanibhyam Vaishnava Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Prabhuji, for on this auspicious day giving us the nectar how to follow our spiritual masters. Thank you so much.